Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the wonderful day for the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development. On occasion of World Social Work Month and also World Health Month, we are organizing in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Well-being. And we have today one of the eminent speakers, Sri Matt Perlestian from USA. So before we start our proceedings, before starting the proceedings, let's invoke the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we continue to proceed for the today's proceedings. We welcome you all once again to the international webinar series on holistic health and well-being and sustainable development, organized in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Well-being. Today we have with us Sri Matt Perlestian. He is Chief Executive Officer for EQ for Peace Worldwide Inc. USA. He is teaching emotional intelligence and social emotional learning for over 35 years in USA and beyond other countries. So their organization goal is to have 1 billion people actively practicing emotional intelligence by 2039 and sustainable global peace by 2050. So we invite, once again, we welcome you, sir. Thanks for joining us and accepting our invitation. We welcome you to take over for the session on emotional intelligence for social workers and their clients. Over to you, sir. Mr. Matt, can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Oh, very good.
Hope you
Well,
are
thank
doing
you.
great.
Thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Nice.
do you have any PPT?
Nice to see you. What?
Do you have any PPT, PowerPoint presentation?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And
You
it's
can
too
try.
long for how long I have to talk. We have about 40 minutes, right? And then some Q&A afterward.
How much time you require?
Oh, about a week. No.
We have just 2 hours. You
No.
can take up to maximum of 2 hours.
2 hours. Oh my goodness. All right. All right.
Up to
Great.
you how quick you are going to end, how long you are going to end.
Just interrupt me if I go too long, or you can have questions during and interrupt me. That's fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. so anybody can, and I'll watch the chat too. Please let me know. You feel free to interrupt because this is important subject, but there's a lot to it. It's not complicated, but there's a lot to it. And I have hundreds of slides, but I am going to try to get the point across faster than that. So
you can take your own time, Matt. You have
Okay.
good time.
Okay.
So you can take maybe 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 45 minutes. Then we can take Q&A for 15 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. I'd rather take, yeah, okay. I'll take some breaks and stop and ask you guys, and let's have some conversation, because it's not just about, you can't teach someone emotional intelligence. You can't, I mean, you can teach them the concepts, but we got to bring it out. It's inside,
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk about it, if that's okay with you. Okay, well, cool. Should I get started then?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Wishing you all the success.
We're talking about peace. We're talking about peace. That's the goal of this whole thing. I wanted to start by thanking people that care. I want to thank social workers, professors, caregivers, whoever it is helping other people. I wanted to thank you for your service and thank you for caring, because a lot of people choose to do different, and you choose to care, and that is pretty cool. So thank you for that. Whoever you know who you are, probably everybody here. We're talking about world peace. We did a symposium just yesterday on my birthday, all day, 12 hours, 24 speakers. It was incredible. And it's all about peace. We're trying to figure out how to make this happen. It's very, very, very important. It's very, very, very urgent. I can't think of a more important subject on the planet actually right now. Or it's just, things are bad and getting worse. And we need to make some changes pretty fast, because people don't know how to deal with their emotions, and that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing. So we're going for world peace, and that starts inside of us. So that's why we're talking about emotional intelligence. Check this out now. This is from the Dalai Lama, the current Dalai Lama. He said, the question of real lasting world peace concerns human beings, obviously, right? Basic human feelings are at its root. That's emotional intelligence, right? Through inner peace, genuine world peace can be achieved. There's a fair number of people, especially Americans, who think that it's not possible. Do you think world peace is possible? I'm gonna say maybe, probably, hopefully, and it's hopefully enough that I'm gonna try and do something about it. And I think that we might have one of the pathways to get there, which is to teach all of us how to be peaceful. People don't know how to be peaceful, so how the heck are they supposed to do it? We have plenty of conflict. We have negative role models. We have plenty of problems to point at and to deal with, and they're difficult problems. And it's causing separation and it's causing conflict. We need to do something about that. We need to teach people. We need to learn first how the heck to be peaceful. How do we do this? It's working in a lot of places, but sometimes it doesn't work. So but we don't consciously train kids, people, anywhere. We don't even talk about it. Let's talk about creating world peace on purpose. On purpose. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, I'm going back to my quote. The Dalai Lama said, the importance of individual responsibility is quite clear. I'm going to talk more about that a lot in this presentation. An atmosphere of peace must first be created within ourselves. How do we do that if we don't know how to deal with our emotions? We have negative emotions. We don't know how to deal with them. They cause not peace, whatever you want to call it, when you're not feeling peaceful. That was the whole presentation yesterday. One of them was, what do you feel when you don't feel peaceful? All the negative emotions: fear, anger, sadness, depression, anxiety, stress, shame, guilt, all that stuff is what we feel when we don't feel peaceful, right? Most of the time, you can actually feel those things and feel peaceful at the same time, it turns out, which is pretty cool. But most people, when they feel those things, don't know how to deal with them. They're scared of them, and which means they're scared of their own self, which means it's not, there's conflict. That's conflict and separation. We're going head to head, or we're going away from each other. We're not doing this here. And this is how we do peace. And to do this, we got to do emotional intelligence. This, I'm putting my fingers together like a team, like connected. And if we don't know how to do that, how are we supposed to have peace? He said the atmosphere of peace must first be created within ourselves, then gradually expanded to include families, our communities, and ultimately the whole planet. Right on. So that's the point of our nonprofit. You can see in my name up here, eqforpeace.org. EQ for Peace is us. So I think that EQ, which is emotional intelligence, and positive mental health can lead to peace. It does. It works for me anyway. It works for a lot of people I know, in at least inner peace and some peace around us. I don't know if it's going to create world peace or not. I'm hoping you guys will join in and we'll be able to see if we can create that together. But that's my theory. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So there's a science and an art and a magic to all this. And it starts with inner peace, right? Just me having some peace within myself. I may not sound peaceful right this second, but I feel pretty awesome. Like I said, yesterday was my birthday and we did this incredible symposium yesterday. And wow, I'm just full. I feel peaceful, but it's happy, peaceful. You can be happy and peaceful at the same time. You can be sad and peaceful at the same time. So inner peace, interpersonal peace between us, right? Between two of us, between three of us, five of us, social peace, teams, families, schools, organizations, webinar series. We're doing it right this second. You guys, we're doing social peace right this second. As far as I know, we're fairly peaceful between us. I don't know if I've made you mad yet, but I think we're doing social peace right this minute. And so we're trying to lead toward global peace. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't have anything better to do. I don't know about you guys, but anyway, sorry. I cracked myself up. Peace starts with inner peace. And peace is the goal, and emotional intelligence is how we're going to get there. And we've got this new thing called positive mental health. You guys have probably talked about mental health before, and it's usually negative, right? So, well, I'll talk about that in just a second. Anyway, here's what I like. Here's what I want for during this session. I want to introduce you to the power of emotional intelligence. If you haven't being introduced to it yet, it's skyrocketing in the world because people are going, oh, so this is how you do life. This is how I do me. How do you, when you say you do you, how do you do how? Well, this is how. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And so it's taken off, and I'm having a very good time because people want to hear what we have to say. Universities and colleges and and schools and individuals and like you guys and everybody are just like, oh, this is amazing. Like, yeah, it is. And it's all free, by the way, all of it. Emotional intelligence, all positive mental health, totally natural, totally free inside of all of us. We're born with it. It's fantastic. We just don't know how to use it. So we give some instruction and people go, oh, that's actually the reaction that I'm looking for people when I explain stuff is, oh, they're like, oh, really? That's how that works? Yeah, that's how you work. They're like, oh, cool. Which is fabulous is on a number of different levels. Anyway, so that's what I'm hoping for you guys. I'm hoping to give you some positive mental health information, some how EQ works. It's really, really good news. We have so much bad news in the world right now. And this is the best news on the planet. This is, so that's why it's taken off. I want to show you how it can help bring peace into your life. Pretty cool, right? Again, same cost. And inside and around you. That's important. Inside and around you, probably in that order, probably in that order, but that's up to you. And I want to inspire you to incorporate this into your life. Now, I want you to change your life more toward emotions, more toward emotions. Seems weird, and you probably never heard someone say that before, but emotions are much, 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 much more important than we ever imagined we ever thought possible. But they are. So, and I'll talk to you about that, and you can decide. But wow. And most people don't know that. So I think I should make this a separate bullet. Share, please. Most people do not know this stuff, and they need to. And it's not fair that we don't teach kids about themselves in schools in their whole life. None, or very, 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 very little. And that's wrong. That is wrong, in my opinion. So I'm hoping that you will not only go, oh, and then go, oh, and then go, oh, and then share it and teach other people, because it's super important, and it is and it's critical, and it's actually life or death stuff. Hang on, I'm getting teary here, because this used to be EQ. I've been doing this for a long time, and at first it was a nice to have skill. It's a way to understand yourself and to be more successful, actually, and that kind of thing. And that's cool. That's nice for me. It's nice. It was a nice to have skill. Now it's a critical gotta have. You gotta have this. It's life or death stuff. There are people dying literally to know emotional intelligence. If you don't know what's going on in the social world, I've got a slide on this, but domestic violence is up, child abuse is up, divorce is up, and the worst one by far is suicides are way up in India, in Bangladesh, in Nepal, in the United States, in Europe, in Africa. Boom, 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 boom. Asia, suicides are going up, and that is, to me, is the ultimate not knowing how to deal with your emotions. Right? People go, I'm hurting, I'm angry, I'm scared, I'm depressed, I'm alone. Loneliness. I just heard one of the speakers yesterday, which was Josh Friedman, who runs 6 Seconds. He's CEO of 6 Seconds. I don't know if you guys know who they are. They're the largest EQ trainer in the world. And he said loneliness was at its lowest level in history before the pandemic. They can now quantify emotions, and loneliness was at the highest level ever before the pandemic. Now, wow. Wow. I don't remember he used much more brilliant words than wow, but he got teary too, because it's bad, you guys. It is bad. And people are separated, people are alone, people are depressed, people are hopeless, people are not happy. A lot of people, I shouldn't say people, because you may not be, hopefully, and you may not, I don't know, but a lot of people, trust me, we don't see them because they're alone, because they're separated, they're disconnected, and then they off themselves. And then, yeah, I don't know if you know anybody who's committed suicide. It's a pretty incredibly horrible feeling. It is. One of my good friends did, and one of my daughter's good friends did, and it's a horrible feeling. Not one of my daughter's good friends, actually, a number of my daughter's good friends have. So the 20-year-old, the high teens and low 20s, not good, you guys. It's become the second leading cause of death in the United States for 10 to 24-year-olds. That's unreal. Think of that, 10-year-olds that are they're out of here. 10-year-olds. Wow. Anyway, so this is important. This is important. I'm going to stop for a second to make sure you can hear me. I'm going on and on, but can you guys hear me?
Yes, Matt, please continue.
Oh, good. All right. All right. I'm sorry if I'm out of line here, but this is this is me. You invited me. Here we go. Sorry. So positive mental health. So mental health has a negative connotation to it, right? People think about Josh Friedman also said there's a difference between mental health and mental illness. Mental health is a positive thing. Mental illness is not so much. But that's true. That he's right about that. But most people call it mental health, and most people have a negative connotation to it. They don't kind of want it. Whoa, I don't know if I want to talk about that. It's uncomfortable. It's negative. It's depressing, and I don't know what to do about it. So I don't want to talk about it. But what I'm saying is that it is positive. We can spin it positive, and it can be amazingly positive for us if we do it right and if we understand the power of what's possible. So you probably heard of positive psychology, right? Well, positive psychology, which has also taken off in the last couple of years, just doing fabulous because we for many years, counseling and therapy, the purpose of that was to get from negative, which is they're upset, they're not doing well, things are not going good, I have these problems I can't stop myself from doing, that kind of thing is negative, right? And the point of therapy was to get them back to normal, to stop the negative and get back to normal. Okay, so from negative to zero. I'm saying, and I'm quite sure this is correct, that we can do better than that. We can go from negative to normal, whatever that is, to pretty damn happy. We can do better than that. We can be successful. We can be resilient. We can be happy. We can be joyous. We can love. We can be powerful. We can be all kinds of cool stuff on the positive side. So Dr. Seligman from University of Pennsylvania, who started positive psychology, said, we can do better than that. He wasn't quite his words exactly. Close, but anyway, he said we can do better than that. And that's what's happening now. They went from just not just dealing with the negative, but actually going for the positive. And I say we can do that same thing with mental health, because which I will go into in great depth here, we can handle our negative emotions. We can handle them. We can let them go, and we can actually consciously create positive emotions. Consciously create positive emotions. I actually don't have a slide on that, but I need to, because it's huge. It is huge. So we can do better. I think I go on about that. We don't have to just go from negative to zero. We can do better than that. We can transform our negative feelings. So we can, same thing, I guess I didn't need 3 slides on the same thing. With emotional intelligence, we can learn how to go down and deal with our negatives on purpose, and then so that we can go up and experience more positives. Pretty cool. That's positive mental health, right? Pretty cool. And again, same price. No charge if we learn how to do it. People go, oh, I see. So there are some kind of minor, being sarcastic, there are some major benefits to positive mental health, major benefits in my opinion, such as we get choices, we get freedom, we get power by using our emotions, we get love, we don't get love, but we actually can. We can create love. We can open up to love. We can love other people both ways. We can receive it by opening our heart. One of our biggest skills, in my opinion, one of the most important emotional intelligence skills is that we have control. I'm going to say that a lot during this. We have control of our heart over here. And we can open up ourselves or not. we can close up. If we find it, as in our family and in our people that we love, we can open wide up to them and just allow your love to come out, allow their love to come in. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of my favorite things in my life. A lot of people, it's fairly popular, but as far as I know. But we can create intimacy, we can create honesty, we can create compassion and empathy and touching and love. We can create it and allow it and provide it and all that good stuff. But with emotional intelligence, we can do that. And if things are not going well, if somebody's upset with us, or you're out in the street and you're not, you don't want to be open, that's up to you. That's up to you. I stay pretty open, even people I don't even know, but that's up to you. It's up to you. That's my point. It's up to you. You get to decide. You can be open as you want to or closed as you want to. It's up to you. And most people don't know that. And kids don't know that. And most people don't know that. So it's a beautiful thing. So that's why I'm saying this whole thing. You know what? The very first slide, I should say, not only thank you, but this is really, really good news. This is really, really good news. So, where was I? There we go. Okay. So for me, it helps me feel alive. I can do this here and look like an idiot in front of you. And it really is, it boils down to, you know what it is? And this for me personally, and what I'm now teaching is that if we can handle our negative emotions, we can do anything. We can do anything because if it doesn't go well, okay, I can deal with that. I can deal with that. A lot of people think they can't. They think that they couldn't handle. And we tell ourselves our self-talk is so negative because we don't trust ourselves, because we don't know ourselves very well, and we don't know our emotions. So we avoid things and we let our fear get really let our fears take over, and these little voices in our head, and but all it is just fear, and we work with it. It's stuff we learned along the way, which is more good news, which I'm going to talk about also. But if we can deal with our negatives, we can be ridiculously positive, like me. That's what I'm doing. I never would have done this a couple of years ago. There's no way I would have done this and stood up in front of you guys or sat here or whatever, but been here in front of you guys, in front of people. I know there's no way. I was hiding. I was scared. I was very scared of people in general. Now I just love people like crazy. And I was scared. I was scared of my scared. I was afraid of my fear. I was afraid of my anger. I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of so many things. I've been afraid. I'll tell you my story if you want later. But I was afraid of a lot of things. And so I lived in fear, and I let that win. And I shut myself down, and I hid, and I was quiet, and anyway, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. It's no fun. Now I want to have fun. Now I want to be open and loving, and I want friends, and I want to teach people, and I want to connect with people, and I want to live what I am teaching. Shocker, huh? And so I'm doing this here. I'm doing this. I'm in front of you right now, and I'm started the nonprofit, and getting people together. Like yesterday at symposium was amazing. Getting people together to say, we want peace. We want peace. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to teach people how to be emotionally intelligent so they can start peace from the inside and bring it out. And anyway, my point is, if we can handle our negative emotions, we can do incredible things. We can do amazing things. Whoops. Boom. So I'll talk about it in a minute, but it's really important. In fact, it's fear, anger, and sadness. if I've found, and a lot of this is what we're working on. I don't have any scientific proof of it, but this is my theory, and what we're working on is if we can deal with our fear, our anger, and our sadness, just those three, well, not just those three, but those big three, to the extent that our body might feel them, right? And that's up to you. Your fear, your deepest, darkest fears, your biggest anger, the things that just right, upset you so much, and your deepest, deepest sadness that of loss of people that you usually it's around people that you've lost. And if we can deal with those three, if we can not be afraid of our own selves and our own insides and our own feelings, we can do incredible stuff. There's just not that much that life can throw at us that we can't handle. It just isn't. Fear, anger, sadness. Get good at all three of those, and it's totally up to you. Maybe you don't, but maybe you don't. Actually, a lot of people have never been there, have let themselves feel as much as they feel, and so they're scared of it. It's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable sometimes, incredibly uncomfortable. And it's simple. It's really, really simple. The message is, if you're really, really sad, cry. Let yourself cry, and your body will thank you for it. And you will feel so much better. And that's all you got to do. It's really, really simple. If you're sad, cry. Let yourself cry and let the sadness out of your system. That's it. Really simple. But it ain't easy, right? It is not easy at all, and it's not comfortable at all. And so people don't do it. People avoid it. People, feelings, especially guys, talk about the word feelings and emotions. No. They turn you off immediately, right? But once they get involved with it and open up and go, woo, here we go, right? So if you can deal, back to my point, if we could deal with your sadness, your anger, and your fear, those three things, there just isn't that much that can throw us. That cool feeling is a pretty darn cool feeling to know. And that's a thought and a feeling, by the way. And we're going to differentiate those thoughts and feelings. Very important difference between those two. They are handled differently. They're called different things. They have different going on in our head and our body, and they need to be handled. But the key is they both need to be handled, not just our thoughts, because we're thought-based society. Our culture and yours, thought-based, not feeling-based. We need more feeling. We need more feeling. That's what I'm saying about that. Our emotions and our feelings are much, much, much more important than we thought they were. We're good on our thoughts. We're not so good on our feelings. I'll go into that in a minute, but that is one of my points to this whole thing. So if I'm asking you to open up your feelings more and be more emotional, or at least be okay and aware of your emotional side. You can, whether you show it or not is up to you, but at least acknowledge it and listen to it. Listen to you, listen to your body and your spirit telling you things, your intuition, as somebody spoke about that yesterday in the symposium as well. Just intuition inside of you that we need to trust in order to make good decisions, and in order to be around safe people, to create safety in our lives. Emotional intelligence is about safety, inside and out. Safety. Our emotions are tender things. They're real, they're vulnerable kind of thing. And we got to create safety. And we were talking about, I don't have a slide on this either, and I need to, inner child work, which I have been doing for 37 years or something like that, 30 or whatever, inner child work. What that means is going back to you as a little kid and where your emotions started and stopped in some cases, and were smashed down in a lot of cases. And there's nobody, I'm sorry, you may think you've never had any trauma in your life. That's not correct. Because trauma just it doesn't necessarily mean that something awful happened to you. It could have been just a basic, one lady was, what was it? Oh, she got hit by a bus. Smashed her head, and she was a mess. And that wasn't the trauma. That was not the lasting trauma that ruined her, that changed her life. The physical smashing, and you can imagine, right? The fear, maybe you'd be afraid of buses, you're afraid of, anyway, it could be a life changer because of that happened to her. That wasn't the trauma. Was that she then went back to school afterward, and everybody heard about what happened to her, and something negative happened, and she was rejected by the kids at school, or she thought she was, which was even more important. She actually doesn't even know if the kids knew about the one thing that she was very embarrassed about. And it changed her life. And she was a mess after that for a long time, for many years, until she started doing this work. Anyway, trauma just means that something really emotional happened to you and you didn't deal with it. That's all, pretty much. Or you did deal with it. It's still, but some huge traumatic event emotionally. It doesn't matter what happened physically. It doesn't make any difference what happened physically in real life. It matters what happened emotionally. What changed? What did you change? What changed inside of you that is still affecting you in most cases? And so if we can clean some of that out, it's got this domino effect. If we can clean out some of the stuff that happened when we were 3 or 5 or 6 or 7, and we find that it goes boom, 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 and right to now, I feel better now because I've dealt with what happened to me when I was 3, right? It's incredible. And it continues if you keep working it. If you stay open, it continues. So you can have lasting, emotionally positive outcomes by dealing with our negative emotions as a child on purpose. Go there on purpose. Fear, anger, sadness. That's what we're looking for. What's the big events? We call them early recollections. What's your big events? Dr. Phil calls them, I don't remember. Life events or something. I don't remember. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm getting way off track. I guess when you said I had more time, I'm not sure that was a good idea because usually when I do these, I am in a rush. Usually, most of the time, I'm in a rush. And in the symposium yesterday, all the speakers only had a half an hour. And so they were kind of rushed too. Some of them only had 1 slide or 3, something like that. Some didn't have any. And because a half hour goes really fast, right? It's already been, and I'm on the 12th slide out of 60. So if you say I got more time, like I said, I need about a week, but anyway. So can I actually, you know what? Why don't I stop for a second and take some, are you with me? Is there some questions yet? Do you agree, disagree? This is what I'm going to be talking about. You want to hear it or not? Where are we at? Can I get a little bit of feedback from you guys on anything? Either turn on your mic or put it in chat. Go ahead, Doctor.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
The participants, if you have any queries, you can put in chat box, or you can raise your hand so that we can unmute, or you can also unmute yourself. If you are unable to unmute yourself, you can just raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Or while the session is going on, if you have any queries, you can put in chat box so that whenever a break is taken, we can take up the questions.
And they don't have to be real profound questions, just or could you please let me know, is this something that is relevant to you? Do you think this is should I keep going? Is this a good topic? Or all right, Mary Florence raised her hand. Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Hi, sir. Actually,
Hello.
it is very useful for me because I studied psychology in the undergraduation, and in PG I studied MSW. This positive mental health and all, I'm like recreating it. recreating, and
Fantastic.
I got lot of knowledge. I am jotting down what and all points you're putting in slides. Nah, I'm jotting down everything. So
Okay.
very informative talking. I'm continuously listening carefully so I can ask questions in the end, sir.
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you. And Mary, you're the one who invited me. I very much appreciate it. Thank you. I love talking about this, as you can tell. And I feel very, I don't know, it's my job. I think I've taken it on as my job to talk about this and to tell people, as many people as possible, about all this. So, because I didn't know when I was growing up, and when I found out that I thought there was some really serious disorders and problems inside of me. That's what I was told by some very smart people. And so I thought I was broken. I then found out, or I decided, or whatever, that it was actually mostly because I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. I had no idea, and my parents had no idea, and none of the people that I hung around had no idea. None of my family had any idea how to do this. And so when I found out that it was mostly a lack of education that I was never, I was really disappointed with my school. I got all the way through college and I was like, is that it? I missed something, because maybe you guys tried to teach it to me. I don't know, but what about me? What about me? I know all this stuff so I could get a job, but I don't know how to deal with me. I have no idea. And so I just took a weekend workshop one time when I was 25. Yesterday I turned 62, which is unbelievable. So it was at 25 and I went, oh, it's emotional. I had no idea how to deal with my fear and my anger and my sadness. No idea. Never used those words in my life. We don't even use those words, right? We don't talk about it. Nobody does yet. And so I was like completely clueless. I have a sign, Clueless Court. A good friend of mine gave it to me. It's perfect for me. It's a street sign, but it says Clueless Court, which I love that. That's where I lived. And so once I found out that it was emotional, I was like, oh, I see how this works. And then I found out soon after that not only did I not know, but nobody else did either. Nobody else did either. And so I was like, okay, all right, well, A, this is unbelievable, incredible stuff. B, it's free. And C, if nobody knows, maybe I need to tell them. maybe I need to tell them. Maybe I need to tell them. So I figured that's why I'm here. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but I figured this is my identity and my calling, whatever you want to call it. But became my noble goal. That was another thing that somebody did a presentation on yesterday, was 2 most important competencies. Again, I'm going to put in a chat about 6seconds.org. You guys have to go check them out. They're the biggest EQ trainer in the world. They have amazing stuff on emotional intelligence, all kinds of stuff. A lot of it is free. And I'll show you some of it in my slides. But they are, and the CEO of 6 Seconds was on the call yesterday, Josh Friedman, which was fantastic. Like I said, it was fantastic because of what he knows, and his perspective was way bigger than mine. A, and B, I was really, really honored that he would come to my symposium. I was like, that was pretty cool. That was quite a birthday present. That's how I took it. We call it spin it to win it. So you can take what happens and we can adjust it, we can turn it, we can spin it to positive on purpose. We can make it positive. So I chose to believe that I was honored that he was there, and I chose to be really, really happy that all those people were there, and I chose to have it on my birthday. And people are like, didn't you want to do something else on your birthday? I'm like, heck no way. This is fantastic. This is so great. So I had a fabulous birthday yesterday, and it was very cool. And so spin it to win it is I'll talk some about that. I think I have a slide on. No, I don't actually. I just mentioned it, but it's a biggie. It's us taking we have thoughts that are behind our emotions. We have thoughts and feelings. We have thoughts about what happened, our observation of them, and sometimes they're pretty negative, and we can adjust them and change them to be more positive on purpose, so we feel better, so we have positive mental health. It's not changing reality. It doesn't mean you ignore the negative. It means you can look at it as negative and be a grump and be depressed and be hopeless and be powerless and feel powerless and think you're powerless. Powerless is a thought first. Check that out. Powerless is a thought first. Then it gets to be a yucky feeling. Powerlessness goes into so many of our negative feelings. As a component of our negative feelings is powerlessness. And if we can feel, this is another reason I'm doing this, if we can feel powerful with our emotions, then we can not get depressed. We cannot be hopeless and helpless. We can not separate ourselves and go, this is awful and I don't want to be here. And maybe we cannot commit suicide. And maybe we cannot have so much violence. And maybe we could have peace. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, what was my point? All right, back to the PowerPoint. Here we go. Positive mental health also gets us results. We can get better results. I have gotten much, much, much better results in my life and more success in my life since I have been able to deal with my emotions. Way better, much better. I fail much less. I piss people off less than I used to. I still do once in a while, but much less than I used to. I make things happen, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. They have many studies now about people that are successful are usually more emotionally intelligent, and vice versa. If you're more emotionally intelligent, you can have more success in your life. You can have more. They make more money. They have get promoted more. They have businesses. They and check this out: live longer. How about that? Healthier, live longer, less severe medical problems. There is number of studies now directly connecting our emotional trauma and stuff that happened to us in our childhood, negative emotions in our childhood that we didn't deal with, that end up being severe physical ailments as an adult. That's a bad thing, you guys. That's a bad thing. If we don't deal with our emotions, our body, over time, our body goes, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And it starts shutting down and things collapse and things stop working. And our body is stressed and not happy because we didn't take care of our emotions. Our emotions are cellular level. Another thing that Josh talked about yesterday, they affect every cell in our body. They have proven it, that it goes to the cellular level. And so it can and does affect us physically. If you want to live longer, deal with your emotions. How about that? Wow, huh? If you want to live longer, deal with your emotions. If you want to be more successful, deal with your emotions. If you want to be happier, deal with your emotions. You want to be more peaceful, deal with your emotions. Any questions? Anyway, if you want to lead, so two of the presentations yesterday were on leadership. One of them was on internal versus external leadership. I thought that was pretty cool. A guy a coach in the UK was talking about internal leadership and external leadership. I was like, oh, I'm taking notes like crazy as these people are talking. It's just fabulous. So so we can lead ourselves, we can manage ourselves, we can be in charge of ourselves, we can help ourselves do better, we can help ourselves do more, we can help ourselves be more loving, etc. We can help ourselves, we can lead our career, we can lead our emotions, actually, we can lead our thoughts, we can all, etc. If we know that we can lead ourselves, then we can lead ourselves. I mean, that's right. Anyway, correct myself up. So we can also have self-esteem and self-trust and what was the word Josh used? Self-compassion? No. Darn, I lost the word. It starts with a C. But anyway, we can really do much better for ourselves, inside ourselves, if we know ourselves better and can manage ourselves better and know about thoughts and our feelings, never stop 24/7. It's the most practical subject on the planet is emotional intelligence, because we can't not think and we can't not feel. So maybe it'd be a good idea if we get good at both of them. Self-concept, I think it was self-concept. We're saying that if you know yourself better and can manage yourself, you will have a better self-concept. You can be more confident. You can have higher self-esteem. You can like yourself. You can love yourself, and therefore love others. In that order. So another minor benefit of emotional intelligence and positive mental health. One lady talked about the purpose for living. We call it a noble goal. 6 Seconds calls it a noble goal. If you have something that's bigger than you that you're a part of, kind of like a webinar series, for example, which is great, good for you, Dr. Bannerender. It feels awesome. It feels wonderful. It feels connected. You don't feel alone, which is a big part of this. And so she was highly recommending that people find or create a noble goal, which is something bigger than you, that you care about, that you're passionate about, and you want it. She said it gets me out of bed every morning. Like every morning, that's one of my first thoughts is about my noble goal. Are you going to do it today or not? And that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And I have huge noble goal to change the world with emotional intelligence and bring peace. So that's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it. It doesn't actually cost me anything. And it feels super good. So we differentiate between unconscious negative feelings, right? Which we have plenty of. And that's why I'm talking about going back into our past and dealing with some of that stuff, making it conscious and then dealing with it. So we have unconscious negatives, right? And so we can make them conscious and deal with them. And we can, in positive mental health, this is another slide I don't have that I need to have, is conscious positives, such as gratitude. Gratitude is a magical thing. I don't know if you are a very gracious person, gratuitous person, but I highly suggest you spin that one up, because that is a conscious positive. If you figure out, allow yourself to be grateful for things, you will feel so much better. It's amazing how much better it can be if you are grateful and thankful and appreciative. It's a conscious positive. It's above the line. You don't have to do it, and there's no negatives really to it, but you can consciously go positive. That's part of positive mental health. This negative stuff, we'll deal with that when it's time. We'll take our time, whatever, to deal with that. But in the meantime, we're going to consciously be positive and loving and joyous and happy and free, if you want, and act like it. We even say, fake it to make it. For real, these guys, it might feel kind of, at first you're like, I'm just making this up. I'm just, affirmations are one of those, like, oh, I love me, I like me, I'm powerful, I'm wonderful kind of things, affirmations. And at first you're like, yeah, you sound like an idiot because you don't believe it, right? But you can believe it, and after a while you'll probably believe it, and so keep doing it anyway. Keep doing it. Fake it till you make it. At first, it feels like you're faking it. It feels like it's not real, but it can be. It can be. Give it some time. So, emotional intelligence takes one other thing: courage. Courage, because it's so uncomfortable sometimes. You're going places in your body that you've never been before, right? Some of the big emotions, fear, anger, sadness, they're uncomfortable and they're new and they're like, whoa, I've never been here before. That's okay. You'll be all right. People don't die from emotions. They die from actions. You don't die from emotions, right? It's the action that you take because of your emotion that you might die from. But you don't die from emotions. It's never killed anybody, probably. I don't know. Anyway, so we can have inner peace. We can find purpose, get a noble goal. Strongly suggest you get a noble goal. Just make one. And if you can't, I was cracking up because we decided if you can't find a noble goal, if you don't know of one, you're welcome to borrow mine. You're welcome to join in with mine, because I want to teach the world emotional intelligence, and we got plenty of room and we need plenty of help. So you're welcome, please. You're welcome to join mine. But if that's not what turns you on and gets you passionate and gets you jumping out of bed in the morning, that's fine. Find something though that is something that doesn't hurt anybody and that's helpful. It won't feel good if it hurts people. If it's not helpful, it's not going to feel good. And so we take into account both sides of our brain, right? Logic and reason, logic and emotion. Does it make sense? And does it feel good and feel right? Does it make sense and feel right? That's left brain, right brain. That's what I'm pointing at. Left brain logic, right brain emotion. Both. We need both. Balance, 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 I say. Some people say emotions are more important. Some people say their thoughts are more important. I think their balance is the key, and more difficult, but it works. It's a beautiful thing. So we can have inner peace. We can have inner peace if we learn about our emotions. We can. I can. I have. I know a lot of people who have. So I'm claiming that that's the key to inner peace. And I'll get to that. Remind me if I don't. I'll get to it. I have a couple of slides on it. There's something right before emotional intelligence that's a critical component to this whole thing. Inner peace, interpersonal peace between us, social peace among us. We can get all that stuff with emotional intelligence. Teams, relationships, families. I got to put that on there. Teams and families, right? You can have a better family. I'm much closer to my family than I was before. And it's a beautiful thing. Relationships, positive, effective, inclusive culture. Yeah, we can change our culture maybe. And we can heal. We have, like I was talking about, the inner child work. We can have stuff from our childhood and that is not blocking us anymore, that is not creating limiting and negative belief systems inside of us that we've been carrying around our whole lives about what we can't do and what we shouldn't do and what we better not do, and that kind of stuff that messes up our lives as an adult. And it's stuff that we decided as a little kid a lot of times, or as a teenager, when something didn't go really, the trauma, something went really badly and we never fixed it or changed it or dealt with it, then we end up living on unconscious belief systems as an adult, and they're messing us up, and they don't need to. They don't need to. That's part of where we don't trust ourselves, and we're afraid of our own selves because we have these stuff that from our past that is affecting us in our present. No bueno. Heal the pain from our past so we can live fully, powerfully, and lovingly in the present, and help us create the very best future we can for ourselves and those we love. Any questions? So let's talk about emotional intelligence. It's about being smarter with our thoughts and our feelings, being smart about our heart, being smart with our heart. If we don't do this, what's happening, as I mentioned earlier, what's happening in the world is not good. There's a lot of not good stuff happening. And I say, and I am living, that it's a lack of emotional education. I think it's the second biggest problem in the world today, besides the pandemic, is that we don't know. We don't know. It might be worse than the pandemic, because the pandemic is going to be over someday, and this might not be unless we do something about it. And so we need to teach people about themselves, because it's causing all these problems: violence, abuse, addiction. There was a lady that attended the symposium yesterday. She's a recently recovered addict, recovering, she said. They say she's only had 4 months, I think, clean and sober. And so she's like, oh, she was there all day for 12 hours. I think she was there about 10 hours of the whole day, just like, wow. Wow. I said, yeah, I know. So let's learn about this, because it's a big deal. Educating the mind, Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. That's a little bit severe. I think, I don't know. That's what we've been doing. I don't suggest it. You get the point. It's both. We need to educate our heart as well as our mind. And it's not that hard. And people, little kids can understand it. Little kids are like, oh, okay. If you're really sad, cry. I'm like, okay. It's just adults that don't want to do it because of all of our commotion. So we don't learn about this stuff in school. Our parents didn't teach us because they didn't know. I mean, most parents, and a couple of people yesterday were parenting coaches. And I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that most parents love their kids and want the best for their kids, right? And they said, yeah, oh, definitely. Most parents love their kids and want the best for them. However, very few parents know how to deal with emotions. So they don't teach that. They don't teach their kids how, because they don't know how. And so they squash emotions and they don't want to talk about them. And they say, go to your room, or big boys don't cry, or be pretty is as pretty does, or, some garbage that shuts your emotions down, because our parents are uncomfortable with them and they don't understand them and they don't like them and they don't want to deal with them. And so they shut the kid down, and the kids go like, oh, okay. Right. And I do have a slide on this. I think this, yeah, here it is right here. Stop generational trauma, which means this guy's being negative and he puts it on his guy, and his guy putting it on his kid. And here's you right here. Here's where it stops if it's up to you. And you go, no. Yeah, that's how I was treated. And it was awful. And I don't like it. And it affected me. And it's negative. And I don't like it. And I'm not treating my kids like this. And so he's passing it to him, his son, who is passing it to his son. And we have 2 granddaughters. One's 9 months old and one's 3 years old. And my daughter, their mom, is not passing this stuff on. She is incredibly emotionally intelligent. And I can tell you, those kids are amazing. I am so proud and so loving to those kids. Just a shock. I go every Friday to their house and just hang out with them and just be with the kids and her, because I'm just like, wow, it's for research purposes partially, and she knows this, because I want to watch how this works so I could teach people, and I want to be a part of it because it feels great. And they're amazing little kids, and they deal with their emotions. They are independent. They are smart. They're fine. They're good. They feel very loved. And that's a beautiful thing. So this is you right here. And it's really uncomfortable. Again, what's comfortable is to be like our parents, to have these pictures in our mind of negative pictures and sounds and trauma or thoughts, pictures of how we were treated. That's how our brain, that's the pictures we have. And so that's what we naturally go toward. Well, not naturally, but kind of, it becomes a natural thing. It feels like it. And we don't have to stay there. We can do it different. We don't have to stay there. We can make a new picture. We got to consciously make new pictures. This guy here in the middle had to say, wait, I'm not taking a picture with me. I'm going to make a new picture, and I'm going to treat my son differently so he treats his son differently, and yay. And it's uncomfortable. So we need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you can't allow yourself, or if you won't allow yourself to be uncomfortable, you're stuck in your comfort zone. You're stuck. You're in jail in a way. Some people say, I've been in prison my whole life until I broke out and stopped making myself in prison, in emotional prison. We keep our heart. I did keep our heart contained and covered, and oh no one can get in there. I'll be hurt and I won't be able to deal with that. This is me telling me, right? I can't deal with it. I can never, people say this to themselves all the time. I can never deal with that again. I don't ever want to feel that again. I can't deal with it. I can't handle it. Of course you can. You handled it before, maybe not very well, but you handled it. You're still here. And this is spin it to win it. And you can handle it, and you can deal with your emotions, and you can get over rejection and trauma and hurt and even abandonment and abuse and violence and all that. You can get over all of that stuff if you do some work on it, but it's not fun. But it ain't always fun, but it's got to get done. So you decide, you want to pass on what your parents did to you or gave you or not. Some of it definitely, some of it definitely not. Okay. It's your choice. So emotional intelligence is a study of me and you and us and we and all of us. And it's the study of we're studying ourselves. So we call it a meta-analysis. Meta-analysis. You back up, your point of view comes here, and you're looking at yourself and going, what are you doing? Like, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you do with those thoughts and feelings? What actions are you taking? What are your values? What are your belief systems? What do you want to carry around with you? That's me looking at me, working on me. Beautiful stuff. Great stuff, right? Great stuff. It's the studying of ourselves. It's thinking about what we're thinking about. Metacognition. Thinking about what we're thinking about, and meta emotion, which I'm not exactly sure is a real word. I think maybe I made it up, but it's feeling about what we're feeling about, right? How do you feel about how you feel? What do you think about what you think? They're good questions, huh? So I find it fascinating. I mean, I think I'm very interesting. I love the whole behavior event or belief system balancing thing. I'm just fascinated by all of this. Psychology, Mary mentioned about psychology. Yeah, it's to me that I wish I would have majored in that. I didn't. I majored in business management, which was a stupid major in my opinion. It's nothing wrong with it, but I wish I would have majored in psychology because it's much more interesting to me. So it's us studying us. Okay. Here's the good news. This is the best news. This is a life changer for me. And this is why I'm here right now, is because you are in control of you. You are in control of you. That is the best news on the planet, in my opinion. It was a life changer for me. And most people don't know that, how much control you can have over you and yourself. It's a beautiful thing. And control maybe is not exactly the right word. Maybe you have power, you can influence yourself, you can change yourself, you can affect yourself, you can sometimes control is the right word. You can discipline yourself, you can allow yourself and not allow yourself, you can do all kinds of things. Control is sometimes the right word, sometimes it's not the right word, but you get the idea. You're in charge of you. And that is woohoo, right? And I'll tell you how that works in just a minute. So what the main things we got to deal with are our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, right? We think, we feel, we act. That's about it. Actually, I think there's this again from 6 seconds. I think the most important piece missing here is we think, we feel, we decide, and then we act or not. We decide to act or not to act. But the decision, that middle part, it should be right in the center, I think, maybe, is actually, it should be thought, feeling, decision, action, down, because, right, it goes down because the decision point is the place where you have the power. You have the power. I do have a quote or a slide on this, and it is this one. No. Anyway, I'll get to it, but we have the power. So thoughts, feelings, decisions, and actions, they are ours. That is the best news also, because that's how you have control of your life. If you take into account that, we call it emotional responsibility. If you believe, if you will take the leap, if you will, to that your thoughts, your feelings, your values, your decisions, your actions, your attitudes, your beliefs are yours. If you believe that, then you could do great things. If you take that to heart, if you will, make it part of your life. If you can take emotional responsibility for your thoughts, and not some of your thoughts, and not some of your feelings and some of your actions, all of them. Nobody makes you angry. Nobody hurts your feelings. You do that. And that's good news. That's good news. Your thoughts make you feel that way. Your angry thoughts, that's not fair, I'm mistreated, you can't do that to me, blah, 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 blah. Those thoughts make you feel angry, right? Thought, feeling, different. We can adjust those thoughts. We can go, oh, you did this. People do what they do. Whether I get angry about it, or I get hurt about it, or I get sad about it, is up to me, right? So if you can do that, if you can agree to that, then you can do great things. If you don't agree to that, you might be in trouble. That makes you a whiner, blamer, victim. It's going downhill. It's not happy. That to me seems like the tipping point. This does. Emotional responsibility. If you take it, you can do great things. If you don't, warning, it's going to be a painful ride for you. So I suggest, if you don't take anything from me yapping for, gosh, it's been over an hour already. If you don't take anything from this, please take this one point. They're yours. Our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, all the inner world is yours. You can do some great stuff with it, or you can be miserable. It's totally up to you, but it is totally up to you. It is totally up to you. So, left brain, right brain, thoughts, feelings. Here's a cool picture of it. I like this one. It's fun. This is not scientifically accurate. It is not just our left brain that does logic and our right brain that does feelings and emotions. That is not exactly how it is. There's amygdala, there's a prefrontal cortex, all that science stuff, which my IQ is not that great. I'm focusing on my EQ because my IQ is not that great. I'm not that smart. But I can tell you that some of the science to it is very real. This is kind of a interesting, fun way to present it. And it's kind of basically that way, that our logic is on our left brain and our emotions are on our right brain. So it's not, anyway, you get the idea. It's fun. You get what I want is for people to go, oh, right, like I said, because we are left brain focused society. Our schools, our parents, our families, our business, all that kind of stuff is left brain, left brain, left brain. We are going to consciously enhance our right brain also, because it's fun. Because it works, because it's a missing magical piece that brings incredible color and depth and width and passion and fun to life. That's why we're doing it. Because it's cool, because it's great, because that's why. And to create some peace, we need to have both. Boom. See this guy? He's got his arm out. He's doing good IQ. and not so good at EQ, down like this. And so if he takes off, he's going to spin around in circles and crash, not do well. This guy on the right, he's doing the balance thing. He's got both arms out. If he takes off, he's going to soar, right? You get the idea. We're trying to consciously increase our EQ. So the way that works inside of our body is that we go, when we're making a decision, we take into account both sides of our brain. How that works is we ask ourselves, does that make sense? What I'm getting ready to do and make a decision, does that make sense? And does it feel good? Does it feel right? Does it? One lady talked about intuition yesterday, and gut. That having that feeling in your gut, that's a real thing. Intuition is a real thing. That's your emotions talking to you, telling you what's up. And we often don't listen to them because we poo-poo on our emotions, and that's not helpful at all. And so we ask ourselves, does it make sense, and does it feel good? So it can sometimes it's way off balance like this, right? Some things they make really good sense logically, but they don't feel very good. They don't feel very good. And some things, like that one lady that was a recent addict getting over it, is this way. Addictions are, they feel really good. They feel really good, right? Don't make any sense whatsoever. Do not make any sense, right? To be doing some stuff that we do to our bodies in addiction wise, but they feel really good. So that's off balance, right? So we want things that balance. Does it make sense and feel good or feel right? So did I say that? And right, feel good and right. Yep. Those are different. Okay, so if we here's some more good news. Actually, I'm going to put that more good news. If we don't like what we're thinking, and we don't like what we're feeling, or we do like what we're thinking and feeling, we do like it, but it's not working for us. Kind of like our addictions are like, that feels really good, but man, whoo, it's not doing my life any good. Then we can change it. We can change them both. We can change our thoughts and our feelings. We have more power and control than we think, by learning about ourselves. We can do stuff with ourselves and change ourselves, and that's why we can be more successful and get better results and live longer and that kind of thing, because we can manage us. Pretty cool, huh? So that's more good news. Not only do we have control, but we can adjust things that don't work, right? Spin it to win it. Positive mental health. By the way, I don't know. I never heard the term. I made it up, but then I heard other people using it that didn't hear it from me, so I didn't make it up. But I did, but I didn't. I wasn't the first one. I'm not the only one who made it up. Somebody else did too. Know, accept, express our emotions. Awareness. I'm feeling something. Acceptance. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling something. Yep. Not denial, fighting it, lying to ourselves about it, hiding it from ourselves, all that kind of stuff. You just accept it. Okay. I'm having this feeling. Okay. It takes that long. Accept it. Okay. We don't make a big deal out of it. It's just an emotion. Fear, anger, sadness. Oh, that's fear. Huh. That's it. Okay. Accept it. Okay. Big deal. And then what are you going to do with it? So express it in positive ways. Hopefully we'll work on that. I mentioned this already. We learn from and heal our past so we can live fully and completely in the present and create the very best future we can for ourselves and those we love. I like that. So here's the components of social emotional learning. Is a term used, see it right here in the middle. Social and emotional learning is the term used for emotional intelligence and EQ in academia, in schools. You will not see very many schools teaching EQ or teaching EI. They teach SEL usually. Actually, some of the universities teach EI in particular now. I'm happy to say, because I've been guest speaker in a number of university ones, classes about emotional intelligence. And I'm like, yes, in the psychology department, sociology, economics. When was in the economics department, I'm like, really? They said, yeah, it's a big part of economics is how you feel. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, sure. Anyway, so they call it social emotional learning usually in schools, SEL. So Daniel Goldman, you may have heard of him if you know anything about emotional intelligence. He's the one that started the term, kind of made it popular back in 1995. He wrote a book called Emotional Intelligence: How It Can Matter More Than IQ. EQ can matter more than IQ. It can. I suggest it's a balance thing. But anyway, he's still super popular. He's doing some great work. He has revolutionized the industry. And this is how he says that it's the 5 components to SEL, which are, in order: self-awareness first, you knowing you first. The better you know you, the better you will, other people will make sense, the better you will be able to manage you. All kinds of good stuff happens if you know you first. Self-awareness first. We got to be aware. We can't do anything. Another guy that spoke yesterday, Doc Downing, he's one of my main mentors, and he says we cannot make conscious decisions on things we are not aware of. And the answer to that is no kidding. Duh, right? But it's obvious, but it's not. If we are not aware of our emotions, we can't make good decisions based on those. If we are aware of them, we can go, okay, all right, well, that doesn't feel too good, or that, yeah, feels really good, or right, that kind of thing. We got to know, take them into account. And we got to be aware first. It's also called mindfulness or consciousness or whatever you want to call it. It's self-awareness, right? So if you're self-aware, step 2 is self-management. I can manage me. If I'm aware of me, I can manage me. I can do better things. I can make better decisions. I can be more loving. I can be more powerful. I can push myself. I can make myself wake up really, really early in the morning to go talk to folks far away, because I can manage me, and that's okay because I'm aware of me. So self-awareness, self-management, and I can take my thoughts and my feelings into account. Those are important, right? Well, guess what? Social awareness means that other people have thoughts and feelings too. And they are living on those just like I am. How about that, right? We be aware of other people. And that leads to relationship skills. If my thoughts and feelings are important to me, guess what? They're important to them too. People like it when you listen to them. People like it when you take into account their thoughts and feelings. They like that very much. And you will have better relationships if you listen to people. If you care about what people think and feel, they will like that and they will like you. Try it. If you can make it safe for people to feel around you, they love that. Oh my, they love that. Trust me. Let people feel what they feel without judgment and put downs and shutting them off and that kind of thing. Doc said he's gotten some pushback on this, but because it's uncomfortable again, he said when people start crying, do not try to tell them to stop. Don't try to tell them to stop, quit crying, or distract them, or fix it, or whatever you got to do. A lot of times there's a difference between complaining and whining and crying, real crying. And if they're crying, let them cry, encourage it. What else? Go ahead, give them a hug, or not to stop, but to go ahead, let it out of you, let your feelings flow out of you. And they're like, oh, thank you. And you didn't really do much. You just allowed them to be them, to allow them to be emotional, and they will love you forever because you become a safe person to them, to be them around you. That is a huge relationship skill, huge. So back to my components here. So if you can have better relationship with yourself, you have better relationship with others, and you can make better decisions. basing things on your left brain and your right brain, your thoughts and your feelings, both. So I'm whipping through this. I'm already on the 30th slide. I'm halfway through. I'll go a little faster, I guess, in my slides because I've been going off on thoughts, which is fun. This is fun, you guys. Appreciate doing this. I would say a little more feedback, but that's okay. We'll talk about it in a minute. Emotions matter. Here's what bottom line: emotions matter more than we thought possible, and inner peace begins the moment you choose. It's up to you not to allow another person or event to control your emotions. So that is a very powerful statement and very, very true. We are only born, Doc says, we are only born with two fears: fear of falling and a fear of loud noises. Those are the only two fears that we were born with, which mean, and no anger, which means that's really, really good news, you guys. That's more good. I should put it another way. That's more good news. It's not nurture. I mean, it's not nature. You were not born with a bunch of fear and anger and sadness. No sadness either. You're not born with all that. Where does it come from? We pick it up along the way, right? We got that, pick it up as a child usually, and then we pick stuff up along the way. And guess what? That's good news, because if we picked it up along the way, we can then put it back down. We can then let go of things. We can deal with stuff. We don't have to carry it around with us. So besides those two fears, and even those two fears, he was saying people go to fireworks, right? They go to places on purpose, concerts and stuff like that, that are loud, that are really loud. You go to work, if you're construction, so a lot of times it's really loud. Does it freak you out? Probably not. We dealt with that fear. We can deal with the fear of that fear. And so anyway, the point is that all your fears and all your anger and all your sadness are yours. You created them, and you can deal with them, and you can let go of them also. You don't have to carry them around with you unless you choose to. If you really are afraid of something and you want your body to warn you, that, which is a fear thing, that's the purpose of fear, about something, then stay afraid of it. That's okay. Continue it. And there's some things, I don't know, I don't want to get into that, but there's a couple of things that I'm angry about, and I'm going to stay angry about them because it motivates me and it reminds me that it's not okay. Just like not teaching kids how to deal with their emotions makes me angry. It makes me sad, and I'm afraid for them and for what's going to happen, but it also makes me angry, and I use that anger to motivate me, to push me to go, wait a minute, this is not right. We're going to do it different. We are going to do it different. So that kind of anger is a positive. I'm using it as a positive thing. You get to decide, but you can. My point is, the fear, anger, sadness stuff was picked up along the way, and if you don't want to carry it around, don't. It's up to you. You cannot carry it. So the cool part is more good news. If we're born pretty positive, my granddaughter that's 9 months old, you go, hey, and she goes, and she just this huge smile. All I have to do is go, hey, Lily Mae. Hey, Lily Mae. I love that, her name. And she just goes, like, that's just her whole body. And she starts shaking and stuff. She is just the happiest little positive, loving thing. She's 9 months old, right? She was born that way. She doesn't have a bunch of crap on her. She doesn't have trauma on her. When she has a problem, sometimes she will cry, and to let her mom know. And as soon as she gets her needs met, she's back to happy. She used to sit on my lap because she couldn't crawl around, and she couldn't even hold her head up. But now she's like, off we go. I got stuff to do. Here we go. And that's a natural state for us. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's how we were born. So what that means is, more good news is that if we're not that way, if we're not peaceful, if we're not loving and happy and calm and peaceful, that just means that we have garbage. Also, one of the ladies yesterday talked about baggage. We carry baggage around with us, and we don't have to. And all we have to do to get back to the positives is to let go of the negatives. We don't have to create positives. We can create positives on purpose, but we don't have to. All we have to do, it was her point, was to get rid of the negatives, and it naturally bubbles up. We would go back to our natural state, which is positive and happy and loving and peaceful. We're good. If you get rid of the negative, we're like, okay, if I don't feel anger, sadness, and fear for the moment, I'm pretty good. I feel great, just fine, right? That's good. That's peace to me. So more good news. We got to get good at dealing with our negative. The peace, the positive is a natural state. That's good news. So I've mentioned a number of times the big three. It's helpful to have a really good vocabulary of emotions so that you can explain yourself accurately to yourself, especially, but also to others. It's great to have a really good vocabulary. I have another slide, which I don't have in this presentation of the wheel, Pletnik wheel. Have you seen it? And it has all these different emotions. And I got to put it in this presentation. Sorry. And it's good to have a really good way to describe what you're feeling. And this is my thing with positive mental health, is that if we can also sum it up, all these different things, almost all of them break down to fear. Almost all of them come down to fear, including anger. But if you can break it down to fear, anger, and sadness, kind of sum it up. Oh, which one? Or is it more than one? You can have more than one at a time. But if you get, like I said, if you get good at fear, anger, and sadness, and you can boil it down, whatever happened to you, it's probably fear. It's probably fear based. And if you can deal with your fear, then you can do some amazing things. Like I said, amazing things. Those are the three negatives. The three positives are joy, peace, and love. Those are different. They're quite different, and they take different strategies, but they're really fun. All of them are great, and all of them are something great thing to work on in our lives, right? So, okay, so now I'm going to go into a bit about how this works inside of our body, inside of our body. Viktor Frankel was a concentration camp survivor. He watched people and see who did well and who didn't do well and that kind of thing. And he says, this is pretty cool, between stimulus and response, there is a space. So that means what happens outside of you, the stimulus, what happens, and your response to what happened, there's a space, right? In that space is our power to choose our response. That is, again, more good news. Emotional intelligence allows us to choose our response. That means it's up to us. That means it's up to us. We are choosing our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Isn't that cool? Because we can choose. That's how we be more successful. That's how we have better relationships. We go, I feel like saying this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say this instead, because that's going to help our relationship rather than trash it, right? So we choose our response. That puts us in control of our lives. This is the best news. Like I said, no matter what happens outside of us, we have the power to control what happens inside of us. And the three quick steps to that are awareness first. I mentioned that. It's right. We can't do anything unless we're aware. Awareness first, always. Acceptance only takes a second. So a lot of people are like, that's not a step. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Definitely. Because most people take most of their life, they go, I'm feeling something. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, no, I don't do that. I don't get angry. A lot of people tell themselves, especially women, I don't do that. I don't get angry. I'm like, yeah, really? Really? Okay. All right. You can tell yourself that if you want to, but it's probably not true. Awareness, acceptance, and then action. And we take some action on our thoughts and our feelings, or not. We choose not to say what we feel like saying, and because it's not helpful. So we don't take action. But that's an action also. No action is an action, A, and B, it's on purpose. It's conscious. It's our decision, which C, puts us in control of our lives. Woohoo, right? We take action or we don't take action. So here's more specifically how it works. Stuff happens outside of us. We then have a thought and a feeling about what happened outside of us. Now it's inside of us. Those are now it's inside. So stuff out here happens. If you get out of bed in the morning, stuff's going to happen. If you don't get out of bed in the morning, stuff's going to happen anyway. It's still happening, right? our thoughts and our feelings about what happened, now it's ours. Now we just brought it inside and now we got to deal with it. So how do we deal with it? All right. A, awareness. I had a thought and a feeling about that. B, acceptance. I had a thought and a feeling about that. Okay. C, what does that mean? Right. Number 6, what does that mean? Evaluate it. What do I want to do about that? What do I want to do with it? There's a difference. What you do about something is an action. What are you going to do with it is your thoughts and feelings. What am I going to do with this? What now it's in me, like somebody brought up yesterday about the war. What do you do with that? I mean, people are just like, I don't know where to put this in my body. And that's really true. It's like baffling. You just like, it's incredible that people could allow themselves to do what they're doing to other people. It's just like, what do I do with this? Oh, wow. Anyway, so you evaluate that, you make a decision on, are you going to do something about it or not? Okay, that's all inside. And then you take some action, which brings it back outside, or you don't take the action, which means you don't ruin your outside, right? So stuff happens, we process it, and it comes back out in our actions, which become our bunch of actions become our behaviors, who we are, what we do, who we are. And then we get life results based on what we do, on our actions, right? That's where we get our results from. So outside, inside, outside. That's kind of how it works. Here's kind of summed up. Thoughts and feelings are inside, actions, results, outside, right? And who are those up to? You. Good news, huh? So here's some of the stuff we can do. I probably should shut up pretty soon. I still got like 20 more slides, but so commit to it. Decide if your emotions are more powerful, if you're going to give them more importance in your life. I would like to have you commit to that, but that's totally up to you. Connect, make sure that you connect with people. There was a study still going on in Harvard Medical School in Boston, and it's 85 years, longitudinal study, 85 years they've been doing this study, and they're trying to find out what's working for people. They've been tracking these people and now their kids and their grandkids through their life. What's working, what's not, what's most important to you, that kind of thing. One thing's coming out of it. What do you think is the most important thing for people for their happiness in their life? One thing. Any guesses? Relationships, connection, love, loving and feeling loved, having positive, solid connections through their life is the number one biggest indicator of happiness, longevity wise. Pretty cool, huh? So, and connecting is up to you, baby. They're probably not going to come to you, and they're probably not coming to you. You got to go. You got to do something. You got to go connect with people on purpose. You may not have to go anywhere, but you have to allow it on purpose. But you may have to reach out. It's up to you. And I highly suggest you get good at that also. That's a relationship skills, is connecting with people. It's incredible. Us humans are social animals, and we want to be connected, and we don't like being alone. Not at all. And Josh was saying yesterday that loneliness was at an all-time high before the pandemic, and now so we can create peace, purpose, success in and around us. There's some of the steps to it. There's spin it to win it. I've mentioned it a number of times. Name it to tame it. That's about being able to identify what feelings we're feeling, because a lot of us don't know what we're actually feeling. But being able to identify it, sometimes that's all you need to do. You're like, okay. Okay. Got it. That's fear. Okay. All right. Okay. So sometimes that feels better all in itself. And then feel it to heal it is my thing about what we do with the inner child stuff is we allow ourselves to feel whatever it is we're feeling. We've got it in our body. And Doc says negative emotions expressed as intensely as they are felt in the body will reduce in intensity and are free to change. right? Negative emotions expressed as intensely as they are felt, feel it to heal it, will reduce in intensity and are free to change. So you want to get over your anger, be angry just for a minute. Just let yourself and really, I mean, all in your body and get all tensed up and just let yourself feel as angry as you are. Let yourself feel it and then let it go, right? Your body is like, oh, thank you, please, thank you. Your body doesn't want to carry that stuff around. Let it out of you. It doesn't have to go on anyone else. Just let it out of you, and you will thank you forever for doing that. Feel it to heal it really matters. All right, I'm not going to have time for this, but basically, this is how stuff works. Events happen outside of us. We then put a meaning on it, which creates some feeling, which results in our behavior. So this is a worksheet that we use in our classes. What happened? What did you decide about what happened? I am worthy. I am not worthy. I am broken. I am no good. I am less than. Some stuff that we decide based on what happened to us. Life is scary. The world is big and out of my control. Men are not there for me. Women are whatever, we do this as a kid. We make these decisions and then we based on what happened, and then we end up living on those decisions the rest of our life. They create, if I feel, this was my thing, I've got one, I should have put it in here, that I filled out for myself. What happened? My parents, my dad was in the Air Force, US Air Force, and so we moved all the time when I was little, and that's what happened. We moved a lot when I was little. That's what happened. What did I decide about that? People left me, right? We're moving. So I was in relationship. I had friends and then I lost them. And then I had friends and then I lost them. And I had people in my family and then I lost them. And we over and over and over. And it kept happening. But that's what happened. But I decided that they didn't love me. They didn't want to be around me. There was something wrong with me that people didn't want to be around me. Well, the reality was we were moving because we had to. My dad didn't have any choice either. And so we were moving. So it didn't mean anything about me. I decided there was something wrong with me. I didn't have to decide that, but I did. And that created sad and fear. And I was afraid of everything. And I thought life was so out of my control. And it made me angry that I was angry at everybody. I was just angry. I was an angry little boy. And so that didn't go well. I did some things that I'm not real proud of and I'm not going to do again. And so some behaviors came out of feeling that way and thinking that way. So I don't have to stick with that. I can change it. So I changed it to, so maybe I'm not unlovable completely. Maybe I could possibly be lovable. Maybe there's not so much wrong with me. I'm doing the spin it to win it thing. Maybe life is not that scary and out of my control. I do have some control over some of it. So that helps. Watch out for your generalizations. Life is blank is a generalization, right? I am is a big generalization. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. That's cool. That's better than I am. Or, so better feeling, better thoughts, make better feelings, made better decisions. There's a such thing as post-traumatic disorder. What PTSD is. There's also, that's also post-traumatic growth. We could actually get better even with our trauma, despite and because of our trauma. So find somebody to go through your life with, find a buddy, a peace partner, or a battle buddy, whatever you want to call it. We got to deal with our emotions. We got to forgive ourselves. Okay. Well, I'm not just going to blow that by that one. This one's really important. In order to, is that what I thought? Oh, this one. I have an assessment quiz. It's been published. It's rating ourselves on these different areas, and you get a score at the end, and it's a self-reporting thing. But it's kind of fun. But here's the point of it is, how aware are you? Right? Here's how we deal with our emotions. We become aware of them, we accept them, we identify them, we express them or not, but we learn how good are you at expressing them. We then release them from our body. If I do that anger thing. Some people are angry and then they're still angry and they're still angry and they stay angry. That's misses the point. The point is to be angry for a minute and let go of it. Then now you're getting somewhere. So we got to release it from our body, and it gets stuck in our neck or head or your back or your belly or someplace. It gets stuck in your body, and it doesn't have to stay there. We don't have to carry this around with us. We can let it go. You can imagine it leaving your body, and it leaves your body. It seems ridiculous, but it's true. You can't see it, but it definitely, you can feel it. You can definitely feel it. So when you feel stuff, feel it to heal it business, then you let it go. That's an important part of the thing. And then once you let it go, replace, then once you let it go, there's a space in our heart, or there's a space in our neck where that anger was in there. And we can go in and go, oh, nice. We can find this. I don't want to carry that stuff, but there's still some room in there. And so I can fill it back up with positives and be loving and gentle. This is I take imagine a little sponge, and just go around with, pick a color. A lot of times we do that in visualization. We'll have people pick a color like blue or beautiful green or something like that, whatever feels good to you at the moment, yellow maybe, and you bring it into your body and fill up that space with this beautiful color, and you feel peaceful, back to fine and loving, and replace the negatives with a positive. And then you go, rejoices about going, woohoo, way to go, to yourself. Change your mind, modify your beliefs, release your negative feelings, take conscious actions, and forgive, release, and go on. Get good at forgiving. Also, by the way, forgiving is about not approving, certainly not approving of what happened to you. You can accept without approval. You can accept without approval. I do not like what happened to me, but it happened to me. So I don't like that we moved all the time, but it happened to me, and I can accept that, and I can let go of my anger about that. It wasn't my dad's fault. It wasn't the military's fault. It wasn't the government's fault. We just moved. We did that. This was the deal. Okay. I don't have to carry around my anger about that anymore. I don't want to, I don't have to. So I forgive. Forgive is about releasing the negative emotion between you and them. I can let go of that stuff and go on. Awareness. So recap: awareness, acceptance, action, AAA, or no action. Awareness, acceptance, action, or no action. But it's up to you. It's up to you. And that is a wonderful thing. So bottom line, takeaways, please accept emotional responsibility, live EQ, decide that emotions matter to you, and share it. Each one, teach one EQ. I took these out. Each one, teach one EQ. So please share it with somebody else about emotional intelligence. It doesn't matter who you share it with. It doesn't make any difference, but share it with someone, please. It can be your mom, it can be your kids, it can be your students, it can be anybody, somebody in the grocery store. I do it all the time. Hey, have you ever heard of emotional intelligence? People are like, about half the people are like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I go, what do you think? What do you think? Emotional intelligence, think about that. You can be smart with your heart, with your feelings, your fear, anger, and sadness. They're like, wow. I've had a couple people, I guarantee it changed their life just asking that question. Really? They're like, really? Yes, you can be smart about your emotions. Wow. Never thought of that before. What a great idea. Yeah. So I got some resources in here. I'll be happy to share this PowerPoint afterward. Contact me if you like. I'm open for friends, and on Facebook, and not so much on Twitter. I'm going to take that off. LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't do Twitter much, but LinkedIn's pretty cool. But I'm mostly a Facebooker and WhatsApp, because how I hold with you guys. And then if you want to, our nonprofit, we have mailing lists. We keep in touch. We've learned a lot of new stuff, and we sometimes send out things to our mailing list about what's going on. And there's some incredible things happening in the world of EQ. So if you want to stay in touch, feel free. This is just a quick sign up form. It asks for your first name, last name, and country, I think, in that. Oh, and talk to us. Like, what do you want to say? So, I did it. All right. I hope that was helpful for you. I do. I would love to get some feedback if you're interested. We can stay in touch if you like. I hope you take your emotions more into account than you did before. And I hope you share it with somebody else. So, all right, we got a couple hands raised. Talk to me. Go ahead and get off mute. Let's talk. Mary? Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Alan, baby, go ahead. What's up?
Okay.
Hi.
How can I maintain emotional quotient in the midst of deprivation of food and insecurity? If it is continuous, how do I balance up?
Okay, I think I heard that how do you increase your emotional intelligence when you have insecurity and something, right? And something else?
Deprivation of food.
Oh, you don't have enough food? Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Same with if you're in pain, it's really hard to be happy when you're in pain all the time. It's very difficult. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm saying it's very difficult. I mean, it's difficult. It's not easy. Sometimes it's really hard. It's still, I still contend that you can. It does make it more difficult. You can accept the situation in between being hungry. You can be happy. You can choose to be happy, or you can choose to be upset about being hungry. Or you can't, it's hard to go, oh, goody, yay, I'm hungry. That's great, because it's not great. But you can go, well, I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm not going to be miserable the whole time because it's happening or it's not happening. I can still be okay. As long as you have enough to stay alive, which apparently you do. It's like I said, it's not always fun, but it's got to get done, kind of thing. You can choose positive thoughts even in the midst of negative situations, I guess is the best way I could put it. I don't know if that helps, but I believe that it can be done. I know I have cancer personally, and sometimes it's been pretty awful. It's been pretty awful. It's going well now. My medication is going really well, but it's been pretty awful. And I've watched myself and go, man, it's really easy to get down and think negative all the time and feel negative all the time. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. And so I do that spin it to win it thing and go, I feel physically, I feel awful, but emotionally, I don't have to feel awful. So I don't know if that helps. Mary?
Sir, I'm not. Hi, sir. Actually, you've given a history of emotional intelligence. You've done an encyclopedia. You're given an encyclopedia of emotional intelligence. So I have only appreciations, and I'm very proud of you that you're a great speaker, and I brought you to this forum. I have no questions, but only appreciations, sir. From my side. And I have a good friend who is in USA, so anytime I can call for my sessions. So I'm very grateful and grateful to you. You've done extensive work, sir. 200% justice you have done to the session. My heartfelt congratulations to you, sir, for your life, good health, everything, and long life, and all the best for the future sessions, and all the best for your foundation EQ also.
Oh, nice.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mary Clarence. It's beautiful. Thanks. You always been super supportive of me and my work and such, and I very much appreciate it. I used to be feel like I was, like I said, like there was stuff wrong with me and I was rejected and that kind of thing, and not good feelings. So having people like you, be so positive toward me is really matters to me. Really matters to me. So thank you very much for that, and thank you for inviting me. This has been a lot of fun. hope it was helpful. Hi, Dr. Rubinja.
Thank you, Matt, for your wonderful session on emotional intelligence and emotional quotient. Really, your energy is still intact, the same as when you have started. It's almost 2 hours. So
Yeah.
you continued with great enthusiasm and the same level of energy. Hats off to you. Really wonderful job. I think we are running short of time. Otherwise, I would love to listen to whole day or whole week also.
Yeah.
It's quite useful. A lot of appreciation from all the participants. Really
Okay.
wonderful job by you.
Thank you. Thank you. I told you I could go on for a week. I can, and we could talk to each person and talk about what's going on for them and adjust some things and help people and all that, but we don't have time. So I could come back and do another one if you like. Happy to do this.
Sure, Matt. We will organize a few workshops where we can just tell people how to manage, how to assess emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, and how to improve. Maybe
Right.
that would be more interactive, and definitely I will come back to you.
Okay.
We will have more sessions, and
Okay.
definitely we will work together, collaborate together.
All right.
And
Sounds
we will
good.
also, tomorrow is World Health Day.
Oh,
So I would invite you for tomorrow session, a brief session, not this much long, maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
okay.
So if you can join us, it would be great.
Okay. Same
Occasion
time.
of World Health Day.
Okay.
You can take up the same topic, this emotional intelligence or emotional health, or whatever it is, whichever
Shorter.
feel appropriate.
Okay. Cool. All right. Wow. Thank you. Yes, I'd like that.
Thank you once again for joining us, and we thank you for your elaborate, enlightening, and insightful session on emotional intelligence for social workers and their clients. On behalf of organizing team and international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Well-being. We organize various programs and we invite everyone. It's an open platform where leaving no one behind. We invite all the speakers across the world to join us and collaborate with us and coordinate with us so that we can share our common good cause, knowledge, wisdom to all the participants across the world. That is what we all are looking for. And thank you, Matt. You really did a wonderful job, and God bless you, and wishing you all the success.
Thank you. Thank you. God blesses you all too as well. And thank you for having me. Mary, did you have one more thing?
Yeah.
Mary, did you have one more thing? Raise your hand. Okay. I would love to get the recording of this, or it's live on YouTube. If I could have the link to that, I'd appreciate that. So I guess I will see you tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you, Matt. We will share your link with you. And there is one request from participants. If you can share the PPT, because it was, too much information in very short time.
Yeah. Yep.
Grasping so much is very difficult. Not everyone is so much comfortable. So if you can share the PPT, maybe they will go through, and if there are any queries, they will get back to you.
That's fine. Great. Good. Okay. I will, I just closed it. I will save it to Google Drive, and then I will send you the link. So so you guys can have it if you want.
Thank you, Matt, once again for accepting our request.
Mhm.
And participants,
welcome.
we are sharing the feedback link in the chat
Oh.
box. You can fill it up so that you will get the certificate within 15 working days. And see you tomorrow at the same time for World Health Day celebrations. And see you, Matt, you too, for tomorrow's World Health Day celebrations with all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you once again,
Wonderful.
everyone, for joining. Kindly fill up the feedback form before leaving the webinar.
Okay, if you give me about 30 more seconds, I just uploaded the PowerPoint. I can give you the link right now in the chat.
Sure, Matt. We will give time for the participants to fill the feedback, maybe 5 minutes. In that time, you can complete that.
Yeah.
Time permits. Feedback form has been shared in the chat box. You can just open the form and fill the feedback. It is mandatory for receiving participation certificate.
Okay, here it comes. Boom, there we go. I would also be interested in the results of the feedback.
Sure, definitely. Once we get all the feedback, tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, I will be sharing you. I will call you and share you the feedback.
No rush. Thank you. So should I rate myself and give myself feedback?
Yeah, you can also fill.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe you can give feedback.
Okay.
How do you feel you felt about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say I enjoyed my passion for it. I think it's helpful for me to be excited about being excited. But I think it's distracting sometimes to people. Some people it feels disconnected a little bit, and I could make it flow smoother. So I'm working on that.
Yeah, this is very important subject. In fact, people have a lot of issues nowadays, a lot of these conflicts, crimes, and a lot of things are happening because lack of control emotions, lack of control of emotions, especially negative emotions.
Yep.
They are not able to reduce these negative emotions, and also not able to convert these negative emotions into positive emotions.
Right. Yep.
First thing is identifying, as you rightly pointed out in your session, identifying the, yeah, sorry, I think you are getting some call. So, yeah.
Also.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me, Mary Florence.
Yeah, sir. Yeah. Actually, sir, if I have one best friend in USA, that is only you. Maybe you are elder to me in age, but.
Okay, Matt. Then see you tomorrow. Take care. Have a great day. Good night.
Okay. Yeah, that was Mary Florence just calling to say thank you. So that was nice. So that's why I took the call. But yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for having me, and I'll fill out the registration form as well. I'd like to get a certificate. It'd be fun. But I appreciate that you guys appreciate. Thank you for the thank yous. So I'm glad you can. I hope you can take this into account. And like you said, there's some big problems with people not dealing with their negative emotions. There's a big problem having the judgment about their negative emotions first and then not dealing with them. Those are kind of separate, but if we can accept and allow our negative emotions, we're like, oh, that opens up a whole new world. It's a whole new world. Josh says we're not supposed to call them negative emotions, by the way. He said there are no bad emotions. There are no bad emotions. So if you call them negative, then we try to avoid them. He said they're all information and they're all useful and they're all good. So they're good emotion. They're good. He said some are more uncomfortable than others, which is true. I call them negative just because they're not much fun. They're negative and positive works for me to just have that opposite. But he said they're not negative emotions. There are no bad emotions. I said, yeah, you're right. I know. You're right. You're right. So just terminology. Anyway, so accept your negative emotions or uncomfortable emotions, whatever you want to call them, unpleasant, whatever you want to call them. Okay. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Good night.
Thanks again. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you all the
Bye.
participants. So we'll be closing the webinar. Kindly fill up the feedback form before you leave. Thank you once again, everyone.